Good morning, Sachse. It is Monday, August 24th, 2020. Almost 9 o'clock in the morning. We hope everybody's having a good Monday morning. It is Monday, so I definitely understand it being Monday. Oh, I still hope you're having a good day. All right, so let's check the current conditions at my house. Starting off, temperature is 76, dew point 68. Relative humidity is 76%. The wind's out of the east at about 1 mile an hour, really calm, and the barometric pressure is 29.97 inches and steady. That gives us a heat index of 83. Now, the one thing I will point out is the dew point you see this morning, 68, and really the dew point we saw all last week. That's going to be a distant memory here, unfortunately, pretty soon. Because the humidity is going to come back with a vengeance, and it's going to be a lot more humid and a lot more uncomfortable outside, and we'll talk about those details in just a second. All right, so with that, let's go to the satellite picture and see what's going on in our part of the world. And as you can see, not much. A few clouds down near the coast, some shower activity. I don't know if that's associated with Marco, but it might be. I see a couple of clouds out between Dallas, Fort Worth, and Abilene, but nothing to write home about. So this is what you're going to expect to see today. You're going to see clear skies. It's still not going to be that terribly uncomfortable. It's going to be warm, but it's going to be like yesterday. It's going to be rather dry for this time of year, so it won't be unbearable outside, but it will be warm. So something to keep in mind. All right, so now let's go to the tropics. Let's see what's going on here. The latest from the National Hurricane Center, you do see Marco just off the southeast coast of Louisiana, and then you see Laura that's just south of Cuba. So let's go into specifics about each one. Let's look at the satellite picture of the Gulf of Mexico. It shows really both storms. You can see Marco right here is, in case you can't figure it out, it's right there. And boy, that does not look like an impressive storm from a tropical standpoint. You can see a little circulation when the sun comes up right about there, and that's about it. It's a very disorganized storm, and it is not going to do a whole lot for our rain chances. I will put it that way, unfortunately. So if we go back to the big map, let's look at the specifics. This is as of 7 a.m. The maximum sustained winds are 50 miles an hour. That's probably generous, to be honest. You got a barometric pressure of 1,005 millibars, moving northwest at 10 miles an hour. And if we go into specifics, we'll look at the graphics here. And here's the forecast track. Now, if you were with me last night, you saw a similar pattern. This looks less impressive. So the hurricane warnings are gone. These are tropical storm warnings, and it is forecast to be a tropical depression tomorrow. It might even be today, but tomorrow. And then it kind of peters out near Galveston. So what does that mean for us? Well, what that means is no rain. And unfortunately, like I mentioned last night, what we may get out of it is a lot of moisture, which on one hand you would think, hey, that sounds pretty good, right? Well, you're going to get a flow like this, but that's just going to bring the humidity, not necessarily going to bring the rain to come with it. That's the problem. So Marco, you can, in my opinion anyway, you can pretty much forget about it bringing us any appreciable rain chances. Now, so Marco's kind of out, right? All right, so let's see what Laura can do for us. Let's go back a couple of screens here. Okay, so again at 7 a.m., Laura has maximum sustained winds of 65 miles an hour. Barometric pressure is 1,000 millibars, so a little bit lower than Marco, which is not surprising. And this is still moving pretty good, 21 miles an hour to the west northwest. So let's take a look at Laura's specifics real fast. Now, again, Laura is, if we talked about this last week, it was forecast, at least initially, to move right across Cuba, and it did not do that. So the initial forecast track was something like this, and it was going to keep it pretty disorganized. But as you can see, that has not happened. So it has gone to the south of Cuba. So you're going to see a line like this, if I can get this to work. And, that's going to keep the storm over water, and it's going to be, quite frankly, it's going to be pretty strong. Not anything, not like a Katrina or anything, but it's going to be a hurricane for sure, as you can see. So right now, that is predicted to strike the coast at the Texas-Louisiana border on Thursday morning. Now, like I talked about before, this white area is a cone of uncertainty. Dallas Fort Worth would be this little blip right here. So it's a little too far east of us. That's a bummer. Now, hopefully that will change. But as I talked about last night, if you're on the west side of a storm, that's not good for rain chances because the air sinks on the west side. Sinking air does not let clouds form, and of course, if clouds don't form, rain doesn't form. So it's just not looking good. I'm not going to say that we don't have any chance for rain with Laura. We probably don't have any chance for rain for Marco, but we may have with Laura. It's just right now it's not looking too good. Now this is Thursday, so the forecast is for Thursday, so things could change. So we'll see how it goes. Well, with that in mind, let's look at what the severe thunderstorm outlook is for the country. And of course, for Texas, you can see this big old blob of white, which means no rain chances whatsoever. That's today. If you go to tomorrow's outlook, it's a little better for us because we're actually got some green shading, and you can see the marginal risk in the Louisiana coast. Of course, that's with the outer bands of well, Marco. It might ultimately be Laura. And then if you go into Wednesday, that's when we probably had the best chance to see thunderstorms. Not a great chance, but you know, it's better than none, I guess. And real quick before we go, I did want to show the radar from Destin, Florida, and this is where just to kind of give you an idea of what the Marco looks like. It's that classic rain producer. It's not going to be obviously a big tropical storm in the traditional sense, a lot of wind and damage and things like that. But it is, excuse me, it is bringing a lot of rain to that part of the area. And boy, wouldn't that be glorious for this neck of the woods? Sadly, that's not going to be the case, unfortunately. So I did want to show you that there is some rain out there for sure. Okay, so with that, let's go to the forecast here. And as we can see, for the first time in a while, we got some thunderstorm icons on the forecast. That's for Wednesday and Thursday, topping out at 30%. Maybe, if we're very fortunate, 40%. So today we're going to see a high 96. Cool off a little bit during the middle of the week because of hopefully, some clouds and things like that. And then Friday, the weekend, it's just not going to be pleasant. It's going to be warm and humid, and we might have some chances for rain. But it's just not looking good. It's not going to be very nice. I will say that. So we'll probably end the month in very August-like fashion. I will say that. I almost forgot the theme of the day. And so the theme of the day is just hot. Now, and I would say seasonably hot. So that's the theme, seasonally hot. So 96, 97, that's about normal for this time of year. If you're out in the orange shaded areas of the country, as we say, it'll be a little cooler, but not much. So enjoy those cooler temperatures you're out there. And so theme of the day, seasonably hot. So not really, this will be the last day of somewhat pleasant weather for August because starting Tuesday and going into the weekend and early part of next week, it is not going to be pleasant. Well, as always, thanks for watching, and I am watching the weather, so you don't have to. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day. If you have any comments, shoot them in the chat to me when this is posted. And y'all have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you soon.